we've got B and we've got Numudan. And I know people want to say B's got this, but you know as well as I do, Numudan is a wild and unpredictable beast.
Yeah, the dude is indeed a wild animal, so I wouldn't be surprised if this goes either way. Either way, though, we will have some very entertaining games. We're starting off with Frisian Marshes and KP. We talked about trade and the implications of that middle market, and we're getting the Abbasid from B. So we're already off to some probably spicy gameplay here in this one.
Hey, you know what? Like, here's a thought, though. Demi Lancers against Camel Traders.
Oh my god. Dude, imagine that. You do 8 damage. You do already less damage than a horseman. You're getting -1.5 to like 2, depending on how the math works out with the camel on ease. Then they also get 3 armor. There's no bonus damage. They run at the same movement speed. That would be sad. That would actually just be sad. And you know what? You know what?
I don't want to know.
There's actually something on the line. I just got crucial information on the win rates for these two civilizations. So, House of Lancaster, 3rd highest win rate already at the moment, 87.5%. Abbasid, how many wins do you think they've gotten?
I'm gonna guess
0 wins.
0. Okay, I can make it even more impressive.
Lose rate.
Yeah, it's even better than that though. They actually got picked 4 times. That's the even bigger exclamation mark.
That's the more impressive part.
So yeah, things are a little bit rough.
Unfortunate souls.
The crazy part as well is, like, by the way, Lancaster's the most picked and played civ in the qualifier so far. So we've got 16 times played for the House of Lancaster. Rus has been played 12 times. And then we've got Japanese at 12 and HRE at 15, Shushi at 12. Those are the top leads. Lancaster is just the go-to right now. And I think for good reason. I think in a lot of ways it's still underexplored even after all this time. There's a lot of upcoming players that maybe don't just know how to address it. So for the more decorated players, I imagine that would feel like close to, you know, a free win because you just have a lot more experience. I mean, Popball, for example, you know, he in his GIF series used it on the opening of Dry Arabia. Looking down the results, like, I think we had, what else we got here? Lucifron used it in his opening quarterfinals in the Relic River. Wham used it on Gorge in his first series of the day. It's come out quite a lot from, like, the expected top-ranking players. The only time that it lost that I can see, one of them, I think it's twice, right? And one of them was Mio Micah versus Jean Do, which is just, like, a very big skill difference. I'm sure Jean might be saying. HRE is comical as well, by the way. 26.7% win rate after 15 games.
Yeah, I mean, that one's...
Thanks, Voldemar. You just contributed.
According to Gold players, HRE is like one of the worst civs in the game, so actually it definitely checks out, yeah. Now, it's very interesting the way that you can interpret these stats as well, is that maybe, like, in sets, they're, like, where there's, like, one player that's definitely a lot more favored than the other player, they're more likely to let them get access to the strongest civilizations because maybe they don't care about the set that much. That's mean to say. That is mean to say. Yeah, I just saw this one. But
you think this is OP? Here, have it.
It might have something to do with it.
Yeah, I feel like so I think at the absolute highest level, if you're giving Rus HRE, like, I don't know, I feel like more people want Rus right now. And then if you're a little bit lower rank, you see HRE, you're like, oh my god, he gave it to me, I'm gonna win the series, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna beat B. And then you realize, oh wait, it's kind of been figured out. I think, like, also, you know, HRE is probably gonna have to go through this exploration phase again in comp play, where it has been banned for so long that, you know, it's almost like not walking for 5 years and then trying to walk. It sounds so basic, and then you just get up and you spaghetti down. Right? You need to start from scratch.
It's always the greed, I feel like. Like, HRE,
yeah.
It's like that dark side. Come over here. You've got so many resources. Surely you can get Imperial and not die for it. Surely. And then they die.
It's almost like the buffed gathering rate is a big disadvantage for that, because you do something, then you look down. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where, like, when you have a fight and you look off, you go, whoa, I'm really close to Castle Age. I might just save up for it. Atri gets that more often because their gathering rates are so insane. Like, you go and do something, you look back and go, like, 20 seconds later, you look back and go, whoa, I've got 1,800 resources. I mean, my economy's broken, so yeah, I'll just tech up.
Nothing left. Yeah, and then you tech up and you don't have any more sheep remaining. You gotta do a farm transition, and you're like, oh my god, where's my income? It's gone. It's down the drain. But you know what's not down the drain? You know what just came up? It got regurgitated. It's our game number 1 between B and Numudan, and we're diving in. Frisian March, everyone. We got 3DB playing as the Abbasid Dynasty here, and his opponent in the color red playing as the House of Lancaster. It is Numudan.
And B, going out of his way here, he is aiming to improve the Abbasid Dynasty's performance by infinite % here. 0 wins across 4 picks. If any player could do it, it should be B. If any map would feel fittable for it, you'd think it's Frisian. But this Frisian is different. It's not as defensive as it was. Your corner camp is still ridiculously defensive, but the trade is no longer safe. And a civ like Lancaster could easily intercept you with some basic infantry if you try for it all willy-nilly.
You versus the Frisian, she tells you not to worry about. Almost.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I'd be more worried about the old Frisian, you know? When like, so who was this guy that you dated before? Oh, he's like, no, but like, you know, he's just like, he'd done a few things to me. He bought you a Lamborghini?
You know, he just has his coat. He just has the markets in the corner. Nothing, no big deal.
Yeah, like, you know, he can just afford to buy me everything I ever needed in life. But like, I'm with you now, you know, in your rented apartment where you can maybe move out for some central resources, but there's always going to be life throwing things in your way and the way of your trade. But I love you. I really do. I never think of him again or that amazing life he'd give me with the 40 traders that could be harassed.
Oh, man. Now I'm just sad. I don't have a Lamborghini.
Oh, until you start winning with Abbasid's camels, you never will. But V is not going to take the bait. We've actually got an Eco Wing build. And Abbey of Kings from Numudan.
Yeah, looks like he wanted to make sure that if there's any trading coming out here, he's going to have something to deal with that. Actually, this is great even if B doesn't go for the trade, right? Because in theory, if your opponent as the Abbasid, like, just in general gets left alone, you just want to not leave them alone. You want to be up in their business as soon as possible, because if you leave them alone for a long time, it's sort of like black mold. At a certain point, it just doesn't go away.
And like, you know, what you have to really do to deal with black mold in this situation, the best way to deal with it is to actually construct a ram quite early on, and then just remove the entire wall. And I think like that's something you do here. Yeah. Like, well, you could torches as well. They both work. Like, there's very resistant black mold, I remember. It's got 5 fire armor, which is dangerous against your burn. But there's like an interesting thing here with like Abbey of Kings I've noticed. Like, Abbey of Kings is so underrated, actually, for Lancaster. Like, why would you need a Lancaster castle against a civ that won't attack you? Right? It sounds kind of dumb. Like, yeah, it's nice to get the mustard units, but if you get these kings early, you can stop good TC placements. Another thing that is like brokenly underrated is the effect that Lords of Lancaster have on RAM HP.
Yeah,
makes
getting
them
20%
so stupid.
bonus HP on everything as well, right? Like, it's so strong. Not just having it on your rams, but also like your cavalry early on. You get it on your backline, the archers, especially in the archers. Like, boot camp is nice, but this is like boot camp plus. It means that your opponent's archers are gonna need like 4 or 5 additional shots in order to kill your archers.
Yeah, and I think the other thing as well is like, you have to envision this just like you do the old English Abbey of Kings build. Like, it's something you do that can force a reaction. So even if he didn't build any extra units, B, if he wants to get good TCs, is going to have to do something about this, right? Because like, even beyond the units around it, the Lords of Lancaster's HP, their stats, especially in Feudal Age, are pretty insane.
They are. They immediately are. We do have B moving out for that second TC. Just needs to wait a little bit for Fertile Crescent to come in. And there it is, going to be going up on gold from the looks of it. Even plays it forward in order to protect the berries behind it, maybe? Oh, is he lacking stone? I think he's lacking just a little bit of stone. Oh no, but the timing here, it's going to be so awkward for him.
Okay, there we go.
TC now starts to be built, but the House of the Lord of Lancaster is almost there.
Yeah, but he hasn't scouted it. He's looking for it. Like he's going to check because here's the thing: he's looking in this whole area. He doesn't see a TC at all. Yep, he sees it. He actually gets it.
Oh no!
And you can't shoot this guy down. It's hard. Look at the health.
Damage 16.
It's slower attack speed, but here's the thing: like you can't contest him.
No, it's not slow. It's not slow at all. It's not that slow compared to like the normal thing. Actually,
isn't it like 1.5,
1.6? Was a
1.6?
charge into it.
Yeah, that's why you got baited.
A charge into it, so now it lasts longer. Yeah. I thought it was
but like this
normal,
is the thing.
Men at arms attack speed. I would have been crazy.
No, that would be broken. Like the thing here though, like if this was a spearman, you'd kill him, right? How do you kill that? How?
Not easily, but B managed to get the TC up in time. Granted, he did need to pull a lot of additional villagers for it, but most importantly, he did get that TC up, so now is also going to be able to harass that Lord of Lancaster a little bit, but we still have the Abbey of Kings. Now, you don't have the mobile healer out there, but you can still heal with the Abbey of Kings, but we're getting a stable in.
Yeah, that surprises me. There we go. I was about to, that makes more sense because Yeoman is so good here. Think about the position of that TC and then look at the buried locations. Right? All you need to do is control the stealth forest and you weave the north side and your opponent has no food. Like it's very easy to do with Yeoman that have the better range than standard archers and also the ability to just disappear into the stealth forest again. Is that an outpost? That's an ambitious outpost. Did Numudan forget that like TCs can now see into stealth forest?
Yeah, they can. So B should be able to see this. Now we're also very, very quickly here getting these Hobolos and Yeoman also on the field, but Yeoman are quite expensive. B, he's starting us off now with a Camel Archer. Now, Camel Archers, they're very good if you have a large mass of them.
Yeah.
But they're really, really expensive. It's more like a support unit for the first 20 minutes, I want to say. Later on, they can start becoming...
Right, like I think it's not even just the cost; it's the speed at which they produce. It's so slow.
The production speed is knights. So they have the same production speed as knights, so it takes a while.
Well, we've got Triple Lord of Lancaster. Now click on that health. Good luck.
It's you know, we talked about the gilded men at arms earlier.
I was about to say that. Well, yeah,
they got more health.
Yeah, they're almost like you get the fourth one out, you're basically at like Castle Age Gilded Men at Arms level of health. Now your armor is low, it's 2-2. But like for feudal, that's not low at all. Like for castle, it is weird because castles where I think Lords of Lancaster feel odd because their armor doesn't increase, right? Like the health only slightly does. But at this stage, they're ridiculous.
Behind this. Yeah, but look at what B's doing behind us. He's just going for the Aja play, potentially. No, okay, never mind. Now he's just reinvesting. He just pulled a lot of villagers off food and onto wood. He realizes that this is not something that he can hold even with Castle Age. He needs to start prepping military right away.
Wait, this is sick, actually. Think about the ramifications of the Lords with a Hobbler build. One of the really big nerfing elements that sucks about Hobblers is they have so little health compared to standard horsemen. They have around the same health if you're being attacked by range, but if it's melee, you suck. But with the Lords, you've gotten yourself close to standard horseman health, only you're paying 2/3 of the price. That's
how much health do they have, actually? Like with the Lords of Lancaster next time. Can we select one of these Hobblers? And
look at that. Yeah, it's free shy of normal horsemen.
That's pretty decent. Yeah.
That's a sick build.
As long as we have the Camel Archers in, though, like, the already lackluster damage from the Hobblers gets lacked even lusterer. If that even is a word. Probably not.
I mean, sure, we'll allow it, just because it's that depressing of a number they get. But in fairness, they are great at dealing with the camels, is the idea. Like, Yeoman plus Hobbler is FU Camel Archer comp.
And this is starting to become incredibly difficult for B. Like, he's going to need a big mass of archers. Because, mind you, Yeoman, while they are stronger than normal archers, they're so expensive. It is just
really are.
Very difficult to get a big, large mass of Yeoman out. Looks like we're also getting siege engineering in, but I'm not sure if Numudan wants to wait for siege engineering. Yeah, he's just going straight into the fight now.
Yeah, I think you just torch like this because your boys are quite tanky, and then you start building siege. It's going to force a fight. Blacksmiths are coming in from B, but Undermesh is delayed. So these Yeomen are quite scared at the moment because for all you know, it could be Steeled Arrow. And we see the full picture, but like obviously B's not privy to that. And you can even now just peel away the very heavily injured Hobbler and hobble him back to base to get healed.
Yeah. In theory, even if B were to lose this forward TC, at this point in time, he's gotten enough villagers out of it to the point where it has definitely paid off for itself. And at the moment, it's just about getting military numbers in, getting the archer count up. He's just started making archers. We're getting even more horsemen. Right now, he just needs to flood more units, get maybe enough gold for one more blacksmith upgrade. After that, just flood units, and if the TC goes down, so be it. He's already at a 13 villager advantage. Right now, it's just about keeping that advantage going and getting
there are manas, though. Remember, there are manas. Like, so it's not a lot. It's only 3, but so it offsets some lead. And look at the health on that ram. This is what gets ridiculous. One ram, even when he tries to cheese it with the garrison trick, it's 450 HP on this thing. They're just starting to get claps. Cavalry's going to move in. Yeomen do try to target fire down the camel archers. The ram is still alive. The workers, very heavily injured here, actually. We'll get through it, though. So keeps the TC alive for the time being. Numudan will have to reset, but needs to be fast about this. Steeled Arrow is going to be a big buffer for the next push. But he needs this ram ASAP.
Yeah, B right now, he's pulling a lot of villagers in order to repair this TC as quickly as possible. That's a lot of wood investment into that as well, though. Yeah, it's about to run out of wood here, actually. The thing is, the more villagers you pull on the repair, the more wood you actually spend.
And also, just think of the idle implications. Like, do you want to be here much longer when this push is coming in again? Right? Like, you're going to have to vacate the area anyway. And he begins to do so. So double ram, that's gonna be a deal sealer. It's just B, I think he knows it. He just wants to try and drag this as long as possible to give himself the best chance to defend. But the military numbers do not look good right now.
They do not. We do have a large amount of horsemen here now at this point in time, but be not able to find that window to collapse onto those rams. Maybe if he's able to get this around on the rams, he could be able to take them down. Does have 3 horsemen.
Trying to snipe the lords.
Take that ram down, but it's just so much health.
No, and on top of that, like, actually, I thought he was going for the lords. He targeted the spearmen. So the yeomen, they're clearing that back line. There's a decent number of horsemen left over. The ram's going to get chased onto now. B, he's running out of military fast here, though. Like, yes, he's alive, but look at the yo count. Like, he needs to find a way of still addressing this. We're kind of close to critical mass, even against horsemen. Lords do go down. Now, that's a big tempo reset, remember. Numudan cannot rush up new production of lords.
The thing is now as well that all of these next fights will be much better trades here now for B, as Numudan just lost 20% of his entire military mass HP with the Lord's gone.
And this is the thing, like, there's urgency, so Numudan can't wait to be back up to 4 lords. I was a little bit worried because at first B was ignoring the lords. He actually let them exist for a long time. Like, a fairly popular strat is to target fire them with intent because of the raw HP increase. But he valued the spearman kills a lot higher, and credit to him, he made it work. I am still worried about the yeomen. Spearmen are being built up in reserve again, and B, quite crafty. He's weaving his way into the stealth forest to try and cut reinforcements.
And Numudan doesn't have the outpost though, so he will have vision over the majority of where the forest, so he will somewhat know where B's army is. At this point in time, the economy advance from B, it should really, it's really showing here.
Yeah.
He's also pulled villagers out to the bottom of the map, just gathering resources down there. Has wheelbarrow for that, luckily, but means that he will always like have at least a little bit of food gathering, even from the map. And Numudan won't really expect it, just because there wasn't like this normal just progression outward from B space. Instead, he just immediately rallied to the entire end of the map. The little flat earth here.
I think like Numudan, I mean, the urgency sets in, like, you know how it is, right? When you go for a ram rush, you fail once, fail twice, alarm bell's going. And B's just made this so difficult to achieve the objective. Like, I've been impressed with the way that he was able to trade out. I mean, the camel archers, I'm so glad he moved off of it, right? I think the camel archers was going to kill him as an idea concept. You saw how well the yeoman traded. But now that it's just about raw horseman flood, which is just like, this is where I imagine Numudan has to be wondering, how is he affording this? Like, Abbasids are efficient, but they must be gathering food somewhere else.
Yeah, we do have that single Hobbler right now, just looking around for any sort of economy. And I mean, Numudan knows that B is a crafty fellow. So yeah, he is definitely not out of his mind for scouting like this. And there he goes, find some villagers there at the bottom.
I've got a dagger and a horse. On guard. They're gonna kill him,
the villagers got daggers as well, though.
We've got daggers and we eat horse. Oh no. Double ram in. I feel like we've been here before. And the army's coming. Hello. Oh my god, yeah. I think this was too soon by Numudan.
It's so many horsemen now as well. That's a crazy amount of horsemen.
Most kids have dreams of My Little Pony. Adults apparently have nightmares, because that's what's about to happen here. It's the worst My Little Pony nightmare you can imagine. 28 horsemen, 28 archers. Numudan, the spear count isn't exactly impressive against this.
Yeah, at only 14 spearmen, like, there's so many archers out. These spearmen are just going to get evaporated as well. Numudan did a great job so far keeping his Yemen mass alive. If those go down once, it is immediately game over. Those guys are so expensive to remass. While they're so effective, they do come with a heavy, heavy cost. The Hobblers so far must have probably been the most underwhelming unit in this game, I want to say. Like, even with the Lords of Lancaster buffing them up, they just don't do enough damage as a frontline up against the horsemen. They need to really dive onto those archers to get any reasonable value in. But with these numbers now, it is just very easy to buddy block the Hobblers, and yeah, then they can't really get access onto those villagers. We do have Numudan still trying to go for some raids here, but the DPS on them is just so low. It feels like, even though he has like 4 of them here, the villagers are gonna stay alive for quite a while.
The tricky part is, like, I think the Hobblers looked underwhelming because it was never really about them. There was this cool idea at the beginning, but, like, Numudan never followed through an execution. He switched very quickly off of them after, like, 6 or 7. So we never really saw the impact of Lords. And B, well, he's about to give a lesson on how to ram, apparently. He's going to cancel the... Okay, that's the lesson here in this matchup.
Don't.
And I think that tracks well with how much Numudan has struggled to break B here.
Yeah, behind this, I mean, B at the moment, he's got so much food income. These Hobblers are causing actually a significant amount of idle time. And for the first time, I feel like actually a good amount of villagers have gone down. Thing is, B at this point in time, he's 30 villagers ahead. He's almost at the end game number of villagers that he wants. Farm transition also done just courtesy of that Fertile Crescent. Getting those farms in for very cheap at this point in time means that his farm, like, food income is already very, very stable now. We are up once again to 3 Lords of Lancaster. Soon also going to be on the front line. 4th one also just now came out. Isn't going to be there in time, though, as the fight is happening. The Spearmen still alive for the moment. Lords of Lancaster providing with that really, really big HP buff here at the moment. But they're going down so quickly now.
Yeah, it's just like, it doesn't matter. There's just, I have more bodies. Let's just do full defensive Stalingrad strategy here. We don't need everyone to be armed to the teeth. We just need more boys. And the second wave comes in. He breaks from the yeoman, and this should be it. Numudan, losing the spear's one thing. Hobblers one thing. Rams one thing. But one thing too many is the yeoman. Once that mass falls in feudal, your games are over.
Yeah, man, now down to 19, and there's still so many horsemen reinforcements coming in. And now behind, still constantly active production. Be able to click up to the castle age, while Numudan has been the entire time reinforcing out of so many production buildings. Now, with the last of the Yemen going down, there is no way back in this game. He's trying his best to escape with them, but all that's remaining, it's all going down now.
Yeah, I mean, he's losing completely and absolutely while his opponent is attacking, and the writing is on the wall. GG gets called. Numudan, a cool experiment, but a crazy outcome in the end as one of the most dominant civs of this qualifier thus far, with almost a 90% win rate, loses against a civ that had yet to score a single win.
Man. Yeah, I mean, B, he made it happen right now. We got the first win there with the Abbasid dynasty, and that just goes to show our Abbasid, the secret counter to the House of Lancaster. The answer is no. Was B. B was the answer all along.
You've done that wrong. The way is like, the answer may surprise. No, the answer is no. Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting, like, as a thought experiment, though. I don't mind the idea of what Numudan was aiming for. It just felt like you see all the time, right? The first ram is always the tell point with these type of things. It feels so hard to early on go 2-3 rams. Like, ideally, if you want to cleanly take out a TC, it's 3 rams. 3 rams is the golden number. But we never really saw that commitment point at a phase where it would have mattered. I mean, this was the stage where B had the Camel Archers. I think the Camel Archers were redundant. We saw the Yeoman just dealing with them easily. But then just B was the one to adapt his strategy, and I think Numudan stuck to what he was doing the entire time at this point.
Yeah, I think the cavalry like the Camel Archers, they also just did exactly the job that they were meant to do, which is clear out that initial mass of Spearmen, where they do get just so much bonus damage up against them. They also attack faster than normal archers, so meaning that, like, with 4 Camel Archers, you're basically doing the job that 10 archers would do, but you do it more effectively because you attack much quicker. Also, a lot more health on them, meaning that Yeoman, while in bulk, they are able to take down the Camel Archers quite quickly. By the time the Camel Archer goes down, like, so many volleys must have been pumped into them, meaning that, yeah, the volleys that could have been spent elsewhere kind of missed there on the Camel Archers. Next up, though, we are going to be seeing yet another civilization from the DLC. It looks like Numudan, he's got every single new civilization in here, as we're going to be seeing Knights Templar next up on Enlightened Horizon. And, you know, Japan at the moment also feels like a really, really strong civ. These two in general here on Enlightened Horizon, we've seen them time and time again, and I think both are just absolutely in their element here on this map when it comes to getting these couple of early spearmen out and trying to secure these caravan points of interest on the map. Just overall, a very nice synergy for these civilizations.
Yeah, I think that the interesting thing about Knights Templar here is they are surprisingly efficient with that racks drop on the merchant camp because of the villager dynamics, right? Like, most civs, they'll walk out, they'll build the racks, they'll build the house, and they walk home. Well, with Knights Templar, you can just leave the villager out there gathering wood, which is actually a really big boon to that initial spearman timing, and shrinks the gap of the advantage that the Japanese have, right? Because Japanese, of course, have the cheaper racks of 75 wood, which is very, very powerful. Now, what is going to make this interesting is, despite that edge for KT, Japanese have a unique edge themselves, which is they can build the house and then drop sheep off to keep the villager out there, right? So it seems very nitpicky, but, like, in the early game, when you're talking about 1 villager and you start with 6, yeah, that's like 15% of your economy. It's a big difference to not have to have them walk all the way back in the base. So I love these two civs.
Yeah.
There are a few matchups where you can't afford to build that racks out there. Like, I think Ottomans and Mongols would stop you. And that, by the way, is the most interesting detail to me. Mongols was available for B. Ottomans was available for Numudan. Logical picks, Ottomans especially, has been like the S tier pick for Enlightened Horizon, and it got ignored.
Honestly, Ottomans just also feel like such a great counter out to the Japanese overall, mainly because Japanese, if they want to go for mass on a Geisha, they cannot. Up against the Ottomans, +2 melee armor with the matter just means that on a Geisha just do not trade nearly as effectively as they usually do in most matchups. Also, cavalry-wise, well, good luck against Janissaries.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned, like the Onabegeisha, right? But there's just so many things that suck. Like the Ottoman timing just feels really good in the feudal age, where like Japanese are trying to compete now. And I think like the meta armor, I've seen it so many times, like with that Sapai I've mentioned, where you just dive them as they tech. It's like, I remember when Japanese first came out, and I sat there, I was like, oh, this isn't too bad for Japan. And the more that you watched it and thought about it, the more you realize like this actually might be the hardest counter to Japan that exists in the entire game. But we're not going to see it, man. I guess like maybe the thought process from Numudan is like, would you really want to play Knights Templar on any of these other maps?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this is probably, honestly, I think maybe Dry Arabia would have actually, or Carmel even, would have been better for Knights Templar, mainly because you have more Fallout options, like switching up the Pilgrim pattern, like pathing too. On Enlightened Horizon, there's one way and one way only those Pilgrims can walk, and it's straight forward out of your base. And if they get intercepted there, well, all the other ones are going to get intercepted as well. So it's more like, it forces you to play aggressively, it forces you to play on the map. If you lose map control, then you're not going to be able to have that Pilgrim Golden Come. So we're going to see exactly how it's going to go. Just a couple of seconds, and we'll be jumping right into our game number 2. In B.
And here we go into the enlightened horizons for a showdown between Numudan's Knights Templar and B's Japanese. An interesting one. 2 civs that should be looking to aggro straight out onto the merchant camp. Numudan will be the first to make the move. B, he actually done this a little bit different, Crackety. He actually built the racks inside his base.
That's an interesting one. So we do see why players want to go for that barracks outside, because the villager here from Numudan has already started capturing up that merchant camp. So by the time that the first spearman comes out from B, Numudan already has the majority of that merchant camp captured up, and in theory, Numudan could also just send that villager out to that one straggler tree out there. Knights Templar don't need a drop-off building, and he can just start gathering there. Don't think he's going to do that, though. At the moment, he'll just, send them back, and he did a nice little twirl there for us. Said, okay, I did my job. I'm going to go back now, and at the moment, just going to be massing spearmen up from both sides, because this isn't the only point of interest here on this map. We do have those wolf dens, which are definitely something that you will want to contest, because they do give you 150 gold. And B knows about this, which is why he spent 50 food early on for his first upgrade from the farmhouse. He went for Tawar very early on to increase the efficiency of his villagers, because he knows, I'll get 150 gold from the wolf den. I can afford this and still be able to age up immediately upon getting that bounty in.
And it's interesting because it enables this play out into the berries, because what he done different, most Japanese players walk out just like the Knights Templar player did. They build the farmhouse as well. They drop off some sheep. Well, he realizes that there's a bit of a gambit there, right? Is that when you go for that wolf den, if your opponent goes for the racks area, you've got a lot of exposed things. So what he does instead is he walks towards the berries, drops the racks on the way, and then gets across the berry gathering rate, which now is better than the sheep gathering rate with that one tech. So really cool little detail there from B. Also means that he's exhausting his safe resources, the sheep, a little bit slower.
Wolves are now coming out for B. B did a little oopsie there with having the no spearman directly next to the opening of the wolf den. So the wolves are actually going to focus on different spearmen here. Is still going to be able to get the bounty in, though. There we go. That's an additional 150 gold right there for him. Numudan hasn't moved over to his wolf den yet. Instead, he's just rallying his spearmen over towards B space. And he is actually going to be able to decapture now that merchant camp.
This is awkward as well, because B's now got 2 heavily injured spearmen. It's not like you've got that one that you can sneak behind the group, right? Like, basically a third of your comp is dead. And Numudan already has the military advantage in terms of numbers. So might be that B just has to kind of accept that merchant camp will no longer be his and choose the fast rush on the age now. Tricky part is your opponent's now generating 90 extra passive resources a minute. Spear spam? Well, not the most ideal of beginnings here.
Yeah, reinforcements are coming in, but B does have the defender's advantage here.
We need to be careful.
Worst position for him.
It's a miracle he hasn't lost one of them yet.
Damage upgrade in. Yeah, he just got the first blacksmith upgrade in, because he can get it from his forge. So now all of his spears will do +1 damage. And Numudan, I think he noticed that.
It's a 15% damage buff.
Fire now.
Yeah, exactly. He has to back away. So Numudan tips the hat. Says, well played, sir. He has not gone for his own wolf den, but keep in mind at this stage, due to the double merchant camp plus a bit of active gold gathering, he's going to be able to tech up. And I believe this is going to be your standard way, the French way. Oh, wow. Look at that. Crackety, I'm so smart. I'm so intelligent. Kingdom of France. Could never have predicted this.
Yeah, I mean, we saw so many players trying the other one, the other options.
Yep. Antioch in particular here was like an idea, right? But people realize it's just not worth it.
I think Hospitaller used to be like the flavor of the week on release for a long time. And there are some funky strategies that you can go for with the Hospital Knights, just like out-healing everything that your opponent does. But you can realistically play around it rather easily, and they did get devalued quite a bit. I want to say like a month or so ago, maybe even 2 months ago. The Hospitaller did get nerfed, so they don't have that like crazy stat scaling anymore. because it used to be that their stats scaling into like into Castle and Imperial Age were kind of insane. Like they were just way better than normal men-at-arms.
The problem is, like, I think even then, back then, Kingdom of France just felt too good to pass up, right? Because of the scale point, feudal into castle. I think that's the biggest conundrum you have, is like Kingdom of France, even if you don't do Chevalier, it's the mini military academy. Like, it's just too good to resist early on in the game. Like, when we talk about like Hospitalier even then being good in the late game, or the 10% increased damage being really good in the late game, these ideas are cool, but the late game means nothing if you can't get there.
Yeah, it also just played into player strength and what they were used to from other civilizations. Now, though, he's done a great job with keeping a Spearman mass alive, almost able to take down the barracks here from Numudan. Archers are now going to be coming in, though. B, he's going for it again, wants to set it on fire. Is going to be able to do so. No, he does fall back at the moment.
He has got hardened.
Hard upgrade.
So Numudan, well, you could try and brute force this, but for Archers now being here, I just don't think it's worth it for B. He got a little bit of time in the merchant camp. He done a really good job on that chase of just sniping down. I think the most key point in this success here wasn't even the melee tech. Like, the point in this Dark Age clash that mattered most for B was pre that melee tech one. The fact that he had those 2 injured spears from the Wolf Den, but didn't lose them until after melee tech came in, is why Numudan lost that position entirely. It's actually so well executed.
We're actually seeing B now go into Samurai, interestingly enough. We've seen this before. Who was it? I'm not sure. I think it was CSO, who recently, during the qualifiers of Master of Steel, went for an army composition of mostly just mass samurai in feudal age, just powering through with them.
Yeah, that was also the Canadians done that a lot as well. Like when Enlightened Horizon first came out, I noticed they in particular were obsessed with the Japanese idea, when a lot of the Europeans were looking at Ottomans and Knights Templar. It's a cool idea. It's very reminiscent of like an old school kind of like H3 men at arms sort of thing.
Numudan, he's already built up a great amount of archers behind us now, up to 13 very early on. And B, he's got to be careful about his wood axes here, as he is starting to mass up his own Yumi archers now as well. Now, they are a lot cheaper than normal archers, but Numudan does have the benefit of the Knight Templar bonus wood gathering.
Yeah, Yumi's pretty nice here as well. Like, the Yumi flood is pretty insane. Ever since they buffed it, right? I got a 10% discount increase compared to where it used to be a few months ago. And I think since then, we've been seeing Yumi as the backbone of most Japanese strategies.
Numudan, he's doing some great trades out here, is able to completely kill the remainders of the Spearman mass from B. I still have a good archer count, but not all the archers forward at the moment. B able to buy himself a little bit of breathing room, but it is closing in very quickly.
And the interesting thing here is actually going to be the gradual bannerman, which he should be able to get towards if he keeps scaling a few samurai, right, through the scaling stone. Oh, by the way, like, fun little thing about the bannerman. I'm gutted we're probably not going to see it with this map rotation. There's certain maps that can allow for it. If you can get Daimyo in Dark Age, turns out Katana Bannerman doesn't have a Dark Age version. You just get the feudal version straight away. It's pretty broken.
I mean, is it broken, or is it just something that's not ideal anyways?
It's really like you know how we've had some maps to experiment with the Forgotten Ruins? It works there. It's really quite strong. But this is the depressing point. Yeah, you can't run away from this.
Remaining archers, they're trickling forward. Yeah, this is the issue with the Yumi archers. There's so much movement speed here. And Numudan, he didn't have all of his archers forward. We're getting the first Chevalier in now as well. So once he gets maybe the second one in, Numudan will be able to once again start taking these fights. What he does have, though, is he does have the Pilgrim. So that's already 130 gold per minute if they don't get disrupted at the moment. So Numudan can be very much happy here with just, playing the slow game, letting the economy scale here for him at the moment. And yeah, he also did have control of the second caravan point there as well, the point of interest. So he did have just a lot more scaling on his side here for quite a while.
And now the Chevalier is pretty nice into Yumi. It's just it doesn't seem like Numudan wants to scale it because of the Rax threat somewhat. And Chevalier versus Samurai is kind of an intriguing interaction. Like, Chevalier will win, but not as much as you'd think due to the deflective armor, offsetting your best hit, which is the initial lance charge, right? So I think Numudan just sees this as a raw archer blob fight. I think where that gets scary is I feel like Yumi's a lot more threatening if you both then move towards veterancies.
I mean, there's already a large amount of Yumi archers in, and we are now getting the ability to get that Yumi archer bannerman. There we go. And suddenly, these Yumi archers are going to be able to also do significant damage up against the Chevalier here. Numudan, he's trying for a different approach now from the other side, but he already able to wall that off.
And this short wall is really important, right? This is always the classic one that catches you off guard, especially with things like, for example, fast castle type builds into men-at-arms. The Pilgrims being unharassed this long is kind of crazy, by the way. I feel like Knights Templar very rarely get this much safety. We have got moving out the berries.
Okay,
so like
B now also moving up.
Yeah. He's got Takazaika coming, and this is really nice for that kind of like food vomit. And I think he's going for that build you talked about now with the samurai. So like gradually try to scale like what, 15, 20? Then you think about castle. The dream.
Hopefully it's just massing more and more units. I'm not sure what I like more here, the samurai or the chevalier. Honestly, I think the samurai, they add very similar value to the chevalier. But they're also cheaper. Then again, like gold is coming in passively for Numudan. I think just having this many Yumi archers at this point in time, it is insanely strong here. And we're going to see just how exactly that's going to play out, because these Yumi archers, yeah, you mentioned it earlier, it is just so difficult to get away from them, meaning that he's always going to be able to choose which fight is going to be taken and which one isn't. And we can tell that, yeah, Numudan, he realized that. Yeah, Numudan realized that he is not able to really take these fights. Like the Chevalier, at least, they are going to get their charges off whenever they do charge, mainly because the archers by that point in time will already have taken down their deflective armor. We can tell, like, by the time these samurai get taken down, like, there's still such a large mass of Yumi archers. The Chevalier also taken down, and yeah, he's got so many more units here. Numudan, he's going to have to retreat, and hey, he's going to have to retreat quickly.
And this is the thing, right? The retreat once again hurts you. And, you know, this is the Yumi Bannerman effect kind of amplifying. Love the use of the Ronin. Don't see it often, but it's just another damage absorber for this charge. And you have got a remass into Chevalier, but, you know, the scary thing about Chevalier is a snowball comp, isn't it? Like, when you are reset down to 0, not very tanky, even against Yumi, especially when the count gets this high. And I love that. Just dives in, Merchant Cap, even intercepts the next Pilgrim, which is going to slow down Numudan. Remember, if he's scaling Chevalier, that's difficult in Light Horizon because you only have the small gold veins. So it looks like he's going to have to rebuttal this ASAP. Yumi just continue to stand their ground.
Behind this B, he's actually, look at what's B doing. He's even getting the point of interest, the samurai, the, what are they called again? The shinobi from the point of interest there as well.
The Ronin.
There we go, the Ronin, yeah.
And remember, like, there's unlock at 5 minutes. You can generate one every, I believe it's 2 minutes afterwards. So he could actually just spam out a few more right now. And it could actually just be worth it as the damage absorption.
They do cost a lot of gold, though. So I don't think it's the most cost-effective thing to go for. Something to take note of, by the way, as well. Numudan, his Wolf Den on his side is actually still alive. Like, you can still burn down his Wolf Den. There's still 150 gold to be had.
I don't think it's going to be going for it anytime soon. Actually, either of them, considering it's basically just archers. We will kill that wolf den. It's going to take a very long time. This is the difficult part, right? Like, now you see what happens and why it's not easy to just shut down Yumi at this stage. Is like, if B just keeps kiting, your archers are never in range for the trade because of the better movement speed. And then you just gradually lose your plastic knights. That being said, B has hung around a long time here.
Yeah.
What?
At this point in time, like, Numudan, he's got a lot of archers here. He's able to fight against the Yumi relatively effective here. There we go. Now he's focusing down the Bannerman as well. Now, the aura is still going to linger here for a little bit. But honestly, I think Numudan, yeah, now he can start really fighting. Some of these archers do no longer have the aura now as well. And Numudan's starting to trade a lot better now as well.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking, like, at this stage, as B just try to bypass the next stage gradually. He's rescaling for now. I mean, the thing is, you do have a lot of wood, but that goes both ways. And in some ways, it feels negative to make this just wood on wood, right? Like, it's good when you had the lead, but now you're talking about Knights Templar. Knights Templar are phenomenal at wood gathering. They don't have to worry about lumber camps. They get food along the way. Whereas, what do you get as Japan? Like, it's the discount, and that's kind of it. And I think what we saw is initial success from B off of that Yumi Bannerman timing, but it didn't keep pace. It didn't last.
We're seeing the rescaling into the Masked Samurai, though, and this is where Japanese get their bonus in, right? Like, with the berries, with the better food gathering, this is where they can mass up a lot of these samurai. Now, a lot of the Yumi archers at the moment aren't being buffed up by the Bannerman. That is going to change now, though, and Numudan, he didn't have that many armored units in here, and now he's going to be able to push back again, and we talk once again, with the bonus movement speed now, is going to be able to move up further and further and further, take down more of these archers, and this is so important. We are seeing reinforcements coming in, a lot more Chevalier coming in as well, but there's just so many of these samurai out here. Numudan doing a great job of just continually kiting back. Might
and
be able
look
to
at the way
stabilize, but the numbers.
The samurai detail there, the way he just pushed them beyond the Chevalier and essentially allowed them to kind of just kite him while also the Chevalier just get dented by the Yumi is why I think he won that fight. Like, it's very crafty the way he's doing this. And I think the other worry now for Nimu, we mentioned that Chevalier are less valuable than the Samurai if you go castle. Well, that's now becoming a possibility here, right? The count is up to 11 and continues to scale. Numudan has to be cognizant of the risk ahead of him here. And I'm wondering at which stage you have to try and switch. Like, can you even switch here?
Ronin also blocking the pilgrims here behind this. We're already up to 12 samurai here now at this point in time. Granted, a lot of them are on low HP. Numudan archer numbers are still looking very strong. Is Numudan able to hold this behind this? The caravan point of interest also just playing a big role. Definitely do want to have that captured up. Yeah, Numudan for time is able to secure the spot now out on the map. Still reinvesting more and more into these archers. The thing is, you only have like so much wood in your base to play around with as well. At some point, Numudan is gonna definitely have to move out more. This is starting to still become really dangerous.
Brackety.
And gold is also an issue.
Look at the stone. There's something interesting here if it keeps going feudal. Katana Bannerman. Like, he's going to have a fully, like, balanced comp, right? Like, this is usually one of the weak points for Japanese, is, like, you have to make a choice. What is my edge and where do I buff? We're reaching the point where he'll be able to buff both. And it's pretty important for the Samurai in particular because, like, they actually see a significant upper on each of the individual damages compared to Yumi. So, pretty cool detail. I mean, it's not often you think of like, level 2 on the Daimyo in age 2. That's usually reserved for age 3.
Yeah, it does make a big difference. Looks like Numudan was trying to decapture that Ronin point of interest, but yeah, I mean, B notices that and just redeems the Ronin, is able to push that one Chevalier back. And Numudan, he's still struggling when it comes to the golden come at the moment. Just the pilgrims getting stopped time and time again. And on this map, you do not have a lot of gold inside of your base. These were just the small gold veins there as well. So it is very difficult for Numudan to rely on those in order to master Chevalier. Let's not forget Samurai. They only cost 30 gold. So a lot easier here for B to just mass up these Samurai. And we're starting to get to a point where B, he's got the way stronger front line there.
Yeah, and just the annoying Ronin. Like, remember, Ronin also quicker than Samurai. So they're actually very good raiding type units. If you click on them, you see the stats. It's comparative to a Samurai, but they're a Zuma boy. So, like you mentioned earlier, it's very expensive on gold. In some ways, quite worth it. Right, 1.38 movement speed. It keeps them akin to kind of like a Yumi raiding type unit instead.
Yeah. Right now, I mean, Numudan, what he's doing at the moment, he's just massing more and more archers. The issue with that is that B's doing the same. He's massing more and more Yumi archers with the Bannerman now as well. We got 2 Yumi Bannermen, so it's going to be very hard to snipe those down. Actually, you don't want to snipe them down, KP, because at the moment, if there's a dead Bannerman and an alive Bannerman, B's getting double the buffs. They actually stack 2 times, while there's 1 alive and 1 dead. Only on the infantry. It doesn't work for the cavalry. Don't ask me why. But that's the way it works at the moment, so you, in theory, don't want to snipe the Yumi Bannerman. It's
Got it.
horses.
So
I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense, I guess, the ghost of like past and present. I don't know. I'm trying to justify it. So now we reveal the secret reason why Yumi are OP. What? That's kind of crazy. And like you can exploit that, by the way. Like you say you don't want to kill the bannerman. Well, there's nothing to stop B from hitting the delete key on one of them.
Yeah, but then you just snipe down the other one, and when both are dead, then there's no double.
That's true.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if you want to be
Rather
super micro about it, right? You keep him back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Behind the though, Aja is coming in for B, and he's got the military lead.
And not just that, remember, it's flowing gate. If he drops a rack straight next to that flowing gate, garrisons it with the Yorishiro, the upgrade pace on this samurai is going to be too quick. And Numudan, this is already looking bad. He's going to lose the archer lead.
Check out the damage on the Yumi. +3.
Balance Civ. I'm sorry, wasn't it just like a season ago that people were memeing on Japan? How times have changed. And B, he consistently knew this throughout like a long time. He valued this Civ. You remember like the early KPMM days through the entire 30-week circuit. He's made Japanese synonymous with him. And he's going to flex them here to show you why they can be so good. Veteran Siva Yumi is going to be rushed. Samurai upgrade coming in. He's mirroring it for 30-30. And Numudan has no leg to stand on in this game anymore.
There it is. Veterancy is in on the archers, and there's no way to hold this. 45 archers to 62. Better Yumi archers. B even splitting up his archers into different groups to kill more units at the same time, and GG gets called. Man, B takes it in style.
I'm impressed, man. That was an elegant execution and a reminder why this guy is lethal on so many unorthodox civs. And you know what the crazy thing is, Crackety? It's almost like his time has come to shine, right? Like unorthodox civs, we talk Ottomans, we talk Japanese, we talk Abbasids. We've seen 2 of those so far in this series. 1 we won't see for him. But the point is that it has come around to his time. In some weird ways, it's kind of reminiscent of when you discuss like StarCraft competitive, where oh, you know, he's the best Protoss player in the world, but it's just not his time, right? The game meta doesn't support Protoss being good right now, or Terran being good, whatever. And we've seen that with Japan, Ottomans, we've seen it with Abbasids. I think Abba's maybe got to wait a little bit more to cook, but Japan is, I think, at its highest peak in well over a year, dominating in comp. Like, it's incredible the robustness this Civ now has, when all of a sudden, a Civ which is full melee has the ability to play range, and as we can see in this game, play it well.
Yeah, but we are past the best of 3s now. These are qualifying sets at the moment. So whoever wins this set is going to be able to qualify for the main event. So players definitely do want to give it their all. There is still another chance for 6 players tomorrow. So players that don't make it today, do not fret. You still have a chance tomorrow here. But yeah, no more best of 3s. This is a best of 5. So Numudan not out yet. Next one is going to be JD against Byzantines. And man, we talked a lot about Byzantines on 1TC. I think they're favored in this matchup.
Yeah, so Byzantines, like, it's a very interesting one, actually. Like, French Byzantines, French have actually been winning quite a bit. But JD versus Biz is like, I think French is you can be a bit more casual, if that makes sense, in the way you scale. Whereas JD, you get forced to play with more urgency against Byzantines, right?
Yeah, you definitely are going to need urgency. Something that I would actually believe, something that B would do in this matchup is Dark Age rushing with JD, right? Like, get the outposts up a little bit quicker. Maybe you want to wait until Feudal Age, because then you get JD level 2, you get a villager that builds it faster, but I think you just want to rush it a little bit earlier. Yeah, I think honestly, like against Byzantines, you want to do as much pressure as early as possible, just because once those mercenaries really start coming in, it's only going to get harder from there. And if you don't do enough damage early on, you need to find that that damage in order to scale better than Byzantines. If you don't have that scaling factor against Byzantines, the 5-cistern play, it just means that their economy is so much better than yours, typically.
Mm-hmm. And, well, Sunken Lands, I'm trying to think about this like from a Byzantine perspective. I'm trying to remember where the berries are. It doesn't strike me as like a crazy Byzantine map, because you get less tree lines than like a dry Arabia, or at least the way they're scattered, because one's always behind your TC. So in theory, you have less natural terrain defense to kind of lock down behind, right? Like, Sunken Lands is, I describe it kind of like as a Carmel Light, which is usually a map that's good for raiding type civs?
Carmelite, yeah, I can see that. You got these like little sunken spots, as the name implies, in the corners where there's a lot of food. Then obviously you're also in a little sunken spot. Something that I like about the dynamic here is the way line of sight works with these when it comes to like indentations, elevation in the game. Is that when you're looking downhill, you actually get more line of sight. And with the base being downhill, it means that you get a lot more information potentially about what your opponent is doing, what they're going for unit-wise, just because you see more of their base there. Yeah, I mean, JD, I think she's going to have to play this very, very aggressively early on. We're about to find out as we will go into game number 3. Potential match point now for B up against Numudan here.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting. I love what you're saying about like the vision changes. I almost wish that the inclinations was even more extreme so we get a lot more blind spots. But that's a deep discussion for another day. Jeanne d'Arc versus Byzantines B. Looking for that clean 3-0. Numudan, nothing but perfection. We'll see him qualifying through on the first attempt for EGC Masters Summer. Now, he doesn't. There's always tomorrow to fall back to. That's not the mentality of a winner. And Numudan is definitely the type of player who can win against B. He's had some incredible performances. I think he 3-0'd like Dumu just the other week. We've seen him actually like being able to take 5-game series against B, even reverse sweepstakes in the weeklies. So don't write him off. And this pick in particular, Krakedy, I rated this as Numudan's best civ at the start of the year. His Byzantines, his aggressive timing was crazy. I'd argue he was probably the player that got nerfed the hardest by this Merc timing change, where Byzantines is a little bit more defensive in the opening now.
I'm not sure if it really hurt him that much. It's definitely something that you have to get used to. The early Byzantine timing is kind of dead to a certain degree. Or not really dead, it's just shoved back a minute or two. But everything after that is just so much better at the end of the day for the Byzantines. So I don't think they can be really unhappy with that. What it does do, though, is it makes them very, very open to early aggression, which is something that JD will want to do here for sure. So that's definitely something that we'll have to look out for. Very nice early cistern placement here for Numudan is not only going to be able to buff up the food, the gold, but also the stone right next to, right inside of his base. And, you know, by the time he goes up to the Grand Wineries on the berries, he's already going to have enough stone for a second cistern there. So we'll have pretty much his entire economy with the second cistern completely covered here. Definitely very good for him.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like, you have to do it early if you're going to do it at all here, because you know that Jean's going to be coming in aggro those knights, and this type of spawn just wouldn't allow you to get stone later, so I like this. I think the cool thing about it as well is, like, especially if B decides he wants to go for pro scouts, you'll be able to hang out here for most of the system levels, if not all. Grand Winery is going to be coming in, though, and, you know, we're already seeing that first question I had is, like, the berries and whether it made sense for Byzantines. You see why it's a bit questionable, right? It's like, you have these berries off in the corner, but you don't have that natural extension like Dry Arabia or Lipany would give you nice organic options to hop to, not too far away from your base. Here, it's the extreme. It's like, if you want the goodies, get ready to run a marathon.
Yeah, that's definitely something. I mean, it's one of the reasons why Byzantines can be really good if you do have the map control. It's similar for Japan in that sense. Like, if you have map control, there's just so much food in these corners, because not just the berries, it's also a boar, it's also deer. One of the reasons, actually, why Delhi or Abbasid, for example, aren't that great civilizations is because they can't have access to that boar. Sure, they do buff up the berries, but something that happens a lot of times is the enemy will just use a scout to pull the boar onto your villagers. So you're gonna have to take that down. Might take might lose a villager, things like that.
I guess, like, in theory, if you do get to the mid game and you get out here with Byzantines, it's probably going to be better than it was before because of the system change, right? Like, you wouldn't ever want to be building a system out there in the mid game because you'd already be level 5. But the nice thing about the Byzantine system change is it was clearly designed with the intent of allowing Biz to not just feel like they were a SimCity civ, you know what I mean? Where, like, you build the first 5 systems and that's it. Like, never again. Right now, we have games where I've seen players like in the mid game, like Regions was a great example. They build 5 systems, and then you see them build like a 6th, a 7th, and 8th over on the berries.
Yeah, just spreading the influence a little bit does definitely do wonders there for your economy. Honestly, though, I think in most situations at that point in time, Byzantines probably already has gotten in their olive grove transition. So I think probably on this map, it would have to be quite the chaotic game. I think JD is definitely one of those civilizations that can get this game to become chaotic to that regard. I think other than that, you probably don't really want to move out that far as the Byzantines in this matchup on this map, just for the berries.
No, not anytime soon. Like, possibly in the mid game, but yeah, I guess the problem by then is you always have Olive Grove set up, right? Like, this is still, I'd say, the best Civ for like a farm switch. Like, in some ways, even better than English because of the way you're able to use what you're getting, right? Like, Olive Oil is, it makes the world go round, is the easiest way to describe it. Like, if I always say, like, if you ever get into a 4-hour game where everything's removed from the map, Byzantines is technically the best Civ in the game because everyone else won't be able to buy units, and you just still do so with Olive Oil.
Sean now coming in with Woman at Arms definitely makes a lot of sense, just because, like, range JD, she's kind of sad when you go range JD and suddenly your opponent comes around with Javelin first and they do bonus damage to JD.
You know what the weird part? Have you noticed as well? I've been seeing a lot of people go range JD against Byzantines in the last few weeks.
It's a gamble. It's a very big gamble when you think, okay, maybe your opponent, because like it forces your opponent to go into the javelin thrower mercenary path. I don't know why, but a lot of people don't like the. Oh, that's a brace. Is he getting? Oh, he's not focusing the knight. A lot of people don't like the javelin thrower mercenary path. I think it personally, like, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because like mass of javelin throwers doesn't feel nearly as impactful as a mass of longbows. They attack quicker. They overall just have a lot of more value up against spearmen, up against your, just up against pretty much anything. But then you also get the camel riders later on. But longbows just always feel better to have in mass than javelin throws. So I get why players typically prefer to have the longbows. I think that's like one of the main reasons why sometimes players go for range AD, because they think, oh yeah, my opponent might just prefer longbows over javelin throws, so I might get away with it.
The awkward thing is, like, if they do go longbows, I feel like Melee John hates life, right? Like, this was a classic one in the early days for JD where, like, they didn't like English picks because JD would show up in melee form and die before she could even reach the enemy. Like, it's something you have to be careful of. Not as threatening with Byzantines compared to English, right? Because, like, you can't scale the longbows as quickly. But right now, the big question is, like, well, what's the value point in the map? B, it's very clear the pro scouts he's just trying to contain. Numudan, now that it's got longbows, you'd think it's less likely that he's going to be marching out to contest pro scouts.
Yeah, longbows are a lot slower. It does slow down your military overall, but Numudan does have a good amount of Limithnae out at the moment, so looks like he feels confident enough with his current army count to want to move out. He also sees that B just has a lot of knights out already at this point in time, so I guess he believes that there might not be any archers out at this point in time, just because so many knights have been spotted at this point in time.
5 already from B is pretty impressive. Archer switch is now coming in. Looking at the spread on Deer, I mean, there's a lot of breadth here to cover, and I think that's actually good for B. With longbows in particular, Numudan doesn't have the capacity to block all pro scout locations. So you'd have to kind of punt, guessing where your opponent's going. The only other alternative is attacking directly into his base. Oh, Stealth Forest. He's got the scout here, which is something that a pro scouting player doesn't have. Yeah, and that was quick reaction from B. Like, keep in mind that was almost instantaneous for a guy who saw nothing. So great timing there to dodge.
Yeah. Also getting a little of these twirls in with JD, just making sure the Limithnae aren't going to be full HP. Makes it a lot easier if you have to pull your knights up against the Limithnae, because then just being able to kill a Limithnae one hit earlier just makes a big difference. Typically, in fights, the Limithnae will have shield wall enabled on them, meaning that they attack a lot slower. So if you're able to kill them quicker, means that they're going to get less damage out, means that your knights can actually take reasonable engagements up against Limithnae while shield wall is up.
Dimu, he hasn't been adding groves, right? Okay, there we go. The first ones are dropping. I think this is how you actually measure Byzantine success in almost all matchups right now. How's the grove count? Like it's the be all end all. It makes or breaks the Civ so many times. And I think, like, this is where Byzantines, like, I think this is the proof point that they were the biggest benefactors from the Pro Scout nerfs. It's like, all Pro Scouts, they couldn't get Groves up in time. They just die.
Numudan behind this, he now needs to find a way to age up. B, he did actually manage to get a good couple of deer away from Numudan's first... Well, is that the first? No, his second deer spot as well. At the moment, Numudan, he's got a great army mass. He just wants to find a way out here at the moment.
Yeah, and he's sitting at what? Level 4 system, I think? Oh, there should be enough space there for 5 if he has the stone. Yeah, so he needs to add in the final one, which he just got enough stone for. So he should be getting that coming in soon. And then the tech up will complete, which is insane. Like, this is the other thing about the Hunker System 5 castle build is, like, the Golden Horn Tower pumps out at ridiculous pace straight away due to the maxed out level. Oh, we want to watch Pro Scouts? This is... I don't know if this is the most peaceful or most boring thing you can now watch in AoE4 because of the nerf on the movement speed. They're just so slow. Like, a scout leaves the base, you know, young, vibrant.
0.73.
But, like, he leaves...
It takes a while.
He spawns from the base, right? He's young, he's vibrant, he's looking forward to life. By the time he gets back, he's going to have a full beard down to his knees and full grey hair. But he'll get there.
Behind this, Numudan, in just a little bit, will be able to age up to Castle Age. He's got a pretty good army mass behind all of this going for himself. B, though, that's a lot of knights. Army value is looking sky high at the moment. Numudan not reacting immediately, not reacting at all. And just like that, 5 villagers, 6 villagers going down in the blink of an eye. Oh, that hurts. That hurts so badly. Goldenhorn Tower now going up, but Numudan caught sleeping at the wheel there for just a second and loses dearly as his forward wood line just got harassed and 6 villagers got taken down.
Yeah, and well, he wanted to build a horn and didn't realize that he was going to get the bull because of it. And B is in a great position to now mirror tech. It's 16 knights. By the time he realizes the tech up's going to happen, close to 20. That's when you can easily pivot here. And why not, right? At 800 food income, 600 gold, like, you can definitely afford to just react like that. The other worry is, like, Numudan is still playing wide on the berries, between the tree lines, etc. And this is the thing that I said, there's like a kind of a light Carmel effect. Like, you do get a bit more defensive tree lines to work with, but you still spread so wide. Like, how are you meant to protect all your economy here? Even an outpost out there doesn't feel substantial against this many knights.
Yeah, at this point in time, Numudan, he immediately needs to upgrade all of his units. Does at least have the high system level, so we'll get these upgrades in quite quickly. Veterancy on the longbows is coming in at lightning speed here behind us. There we go, already upgraded. Will want to get pierce damage level 2 in as well, or at the very least upgrade the Lemitnai to veterancy as well behind us. There we go, Lemitnai, now veterancy coming as well. Villagers moving forward to the next gold spot, but he's got to be so careful here.
Spimna coming.
Make sure those villagers stay alive.
Knights
in the wood line.
They're going to come here. Go for the charge in, but good timing there. Numudan, threaded the needle. Able to push him away. B is now going to follow suit. It is not going to be an all-in for the Royal Institute. He's going for the guild hall, so wants to have that leeway to play into the hyper late game here.
Yeah, it looks like B feels like he's done enough damage there with that raid in the wood line. Definitely did do a lot of damage. We do have 2 Lemitnai there trying to really hold off against the knights here. Actually, like, with veterancy, they're able to take one of these knights down. So, decent trade, I want to say, overall here for Numudan. Is getting out a little bit on the wood line. Did actually manage to take down JD here. She got forgotten. Did get bought back, though, by B. But, yeah, a little bit of a loss there here from B. He also lost a good couple of knights there for it. But is getting the transition behind this into Castle Age now.
So this is where the game gets awkward when you're Jean, right? Because, like, you don't have a crazy number of knights, and you've got a melee Jean. And remember what I said about, like, melee Jean used to hate playing against English? Historically accurate. Because the longbows, there's now 20 vet longbows, and you're made of plastic. And he's still got a long way to go until level 3. So I actually like Numudan's read to not just camp at home. I think that would be a very negligent play. He's posturing up, and it's smart. Look at the sacred sites. What's the most obvious way B can now get XP to fix this conundrum?
Yeah, the sacred sites are definitely the option there. JD can capture up those sacred sites, but Numudan already in the middle of the map is going to have easy access to them. I do say that, but mercenaries out of position here. Be able to find not just the mercenaries, but also some reinforcement. Lamidnai, definitely good trades here. Veterans now also coming in on those Royal Knights, and it's so important for B to keep the army count low here.
Crazy.
But his archers are getting found out.
Yeah, look at the Knights. They just go into the base. The archers just bait out the force. He's going all the way through. It's Palau Town Central. And remember, there's enough Knights to spread out here and not enough garrison slots. So if B maybe goes like 2 different split groups here, surely we should be looking at worker kills.
Numudan does some good movement. Oh no, never mind. All the villagers are at the same spot. But the Lamidnai are going to be back in time. B, he's not going to get that many villagers here. 1, 2, actually, never mind. 3 villagers go down. 2 villagers to go down.
It's kind of crazy, actually. Like, B, obviously, we've got vision, so he didn't know what we knew, right? Like, ideally, you run, like, 6 past the Golden Horn Town on the left and the rest on the east side, right? And you catch something that way. But it's easy to say with 20/20 vision. Like, he's punting in the blind, and he even finds the barriers on the back. And the crazy thing is, like, he's doing this when Numudan sees it coming, right? He's got outpost vision. If you look at what Numu sees, he should, in theory, at least have plenty of time to react. But B is giving him information overload. He's trying to hit him at like 2, 3, 4 different locations at once.
Yeah, and these knights just continually roaming around here means that they might find, once again, with the next charge cycle, another villager that does go down. And that's the thing, right? Like, Numudan, he's been hammered so many villagers now at this point in time. It's all starting to add up. Like, sure, he's getting an additional 26% gather speed through those cisterns, but he's already lost more than 20% of his economy. So that benefit is kind of down the drain. Jean did manage to capture up one of the sacred sites, but is going to get taken down here. Is she going to get bought back? She is immediately going to get bought back.
The one advantage of not having level 3 yet. She's dirt cheap. Just keep vomiting her out. I mean, it's only half your gold income per minute. Yeah, I mean, it's a rough position, but we do have to remember Numudan, like, he has got an inflated economy with assistance. The tricky part is, like, when you're pre-50, the percentage isn't, like, wild, right? It doesn't feel big. Like, at this stage, it's not actually making up the gap for him. And I said that Olive Grove count, it's how you measure success for Byzantines. Does that look like a successful Byzantine player?
In progress. Let's put it like that. Numudan did manage to secure up to 3 relics here, and 3 relics is going to be great because then at least he will be able to consistently pump out those mercenaries with the extra olive oil income that he's going to be getting. So he's still very much in this game, I want to say. Golden Horn Tower, great for unit production as well. And then on top of that, the relic advantage as well on his side. And military-wise, he's not looking bad. He just needs to find a way out of his base. The issue is, I don't think that's going to come until he adds in some walls, or he's going to need to keep a significant amount of units inside of his base just to be able to deal with any night raids.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the constant issue we've seen in this game is Numudan. He knows this map is about attack. Like, you see, this is the closest he keeps getting to B's base. And the moment he gets here, he has to turn around. So I'm a little bit worried because, like, what he's doing right now is he's trying to stop level 3 Jean instead of going in. And it's too late. She's got the XP. She's like, what, 10 away? And now, if you watch that mini-map, what you're going to start to see is the Knights are probably going to start to, like, move towards the enemy base again.
Okay. Ooh, JD again, before she's able to get the level up in. So, will be cheap to buy back, but at this point in time, the buyback should be on cooldown.
Yeah, but the good news is at least you didn't, like, get level 3 there and then be in a situation where you might have to spend 500 gold. And the Knights are in again. They're diving the back.
Yeah.
It keeps happening.
Numudan behind this, he did the reasonable thing. He went for the painted shield upgrade. So now the Lamidnai, take a look at their movement speed. They are crazy fast. The Knights won't be able to get that many pickoffs anymore. 1.8 while charging, 1.44 outside of the charge. They are very quick to reposition in order to deal with these night raids now.
That's the interesting thing, right? Like, I think B was completely aware of this timing and the threat of it. And that's why we haven't seen him dive in with the Knights as much. But like you said, he's done so much damage, right? It's a 13 worker lead. And also remember, Guildhall's tickling towards that Imperial timing is inevitable. On a map that only has 2 sacred sites. So decap is really important. Love that Numudan done that. Otherwise, there's a risk you get down to like 5 minutes and you discover there's a red palace on a sacred site.
Yeah, we're getting a nice... We've gotten a lot of these in today. Another nice little value camp there. from B on the gold, so he's going to be able to get some good gold income. That's the only thing that he needs in combination with the guild hall in order to get to Imperial Age. He's also massed up a great number of archers behind this at the moment, so we should even be able to take up fights up against the longbowman mass here from Numudan. And Numudan, he's been pushed back all the way back inside of his base yet again. Not really feeling like he can move out at the moment. And yeah, I mean, this is the issue, right? Like, against an opponent with a very mobile army composition, you definitely do need walls. And on an open map like this, where it is hard to wall, we can see just how... Oh, look at that. Look at that. We got a little confetti there for the value mining camp. And there's the knights yet again.
Yeah, we should have had a confetti on the groves, because they just got dove again. 3 more worker kills. B just keeps going in. Oh, okay. So talk to me about this in-progress economy. Is it going to be complete in this series? Is it going to be complete today? Do we have to wait for tomorrow for the other groves to be complete? Like, what's the time frame here, Crackety? I need you to commit.
The time frame might need to be in the next game, as we do see the fight now happening between B and Numudan.
Oh, that checkpoint.
The longbows, they were just so... They got pinched between the spearmen and the knights. The knights just taking that fight. And yeah, there it is. GG comes in.
3-0, baby.
Take it with the 3-0 clean sweep. There we go again.
3-0! There you go. You got to put the emotion on it. I mean, what a way for B this as well. That was methodical, surgical execution to get the final point in this clean run. And I mean, it has been quite the clean run, right? I don't think B has dropped a single game, if I'm not mistaken. No, 2-0 KJJ. Started off with a 2-0 over Persistaltic. Not a player I'm familiar with, but just what I think in some ways we'd expect. B, especially when you have maps like Enlightened Horizon in there, we just saw how I think that was the memorable game of the series for sure. But I don't think this is like a besmirchment on Numudan's capability. I still see him as an obvious pick to make it tomorrow. But if you had to choose a player that he probably didn't want to go up against, I think this is the one. Like, there's a player actually happening in another series who I think he would have preferred, which is like maybe Dumu, because Numudan also likes the later phase of the game, right? He's very aggressive opening, but he likes to get to late game. And we know B, he's a weird, wonky, windy, crazy road all the way through a game. He never makes things simple. You know what I mean? Like, I've always heard this said by players about him, is that you'll see him do something and they'll go, yeah, he didn't plan that. There's no way that was planned from the get-go. He changed script midway.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy the way that B just kind of reads the flow of the game. Sometimes, like, there are strategies coming out of him on the spot that you would never, ever really expect to be an option. And it's kind of crazy. And it goes to show, like, he's also influenced just so many players when it comes to a playstyle. Like, namely, I want to say, like, Cat, Anatond, I'm not sure if Scatterbrain directly, but
he's
back
part
in the
of the
day
3D
as well.
clan. Like, he would have, like, indirectly, because, like, Scatterbrain and Anatan, I believe, practiced together a lot. But yeah, you're right. Like, it's been a lot. And by the way, I mentioned Dumu because, guys, we will be checking in on Dumu next. We'll be hopping in mid-series. I think they just finished game number 2, which was a crazy one. But we thought it was only right, Crack? I mean, we had a 3-0 here. It had some exciting games. But a 3-0, that doesn't feel right to end the stream on.
Yeah, definitely not. We're getting more games in. Garneth as well is a name that comes to mind when I think about just players that were influenced by B quite a bit and his playstyle. And it really it led to just a lot of very interesting strategies, not just from B after that, but just his playstyle also influencing how other players look at the meta overall.
Oh,
so
you know who
definitely
else?
Just who else?
Koinu. Remember Koinu back when he scrimmed with him? Yeah, because they were religiously scrimming together back in the Red Bull Wollo days.
Dude, you're not gonna believe it, but I saw Lenok play today, and like, you look at his account, last game played before he started playing again today was like from 2023, and he's played a couple of games today. Yeah,
you're pulling my leg.
No, I'm not pulling your neck. I'm not pulling. I'm serious. I saw Lenok play today on his main account, Age of Empires 4.
I just checked, and the last game was over a year ago. You're lying to me.
No, I saw him literally in game. No, I'm not lying. Maybe he was spectating. But he was
maybe
online in Age
scrimming.
of Empires 4.
Ooh.
Maybe.